This article here, I mean, this one is just entertainment. You know, don't take this one too seriously. I'm going to use this as a little bit of a springboard for me. But this is just kind of entertainment. So this is from NBC News. The stark numbers driving Democratic panic about a third-party 2024 bid. So we have a lot of angles here. The primary angle is don't run against the duopoly. Don't do it, because if you do, Trump's gonna win. Trump's gonna win. Now, again, is there validity to that argument? Yeah, there is, because we live in a fucked up system where we don't have ranked choice voting, and yeah, there are such things as spoiler votes. It is true. I know a lot of people on the left, they get triggered when you actually acknowledge reality on this one. You ever see these guys that are like, you know, how dare you acknowledge reality that my vote for Gary Johnson is not doing anything? Like, you know, so some people get triggered, but it is true. Yes, there is legitimacy to the argument that if you vote third party, it can let Trump win. Now, that said, right, reality, check, we've acknowledged it. With that all being said, it is kind of a rock and a hard place. Like, they really got us by the balls here. I mean, let's be honest. Like, the entire system of American politics is designed so that there is no actual clear, correct answer. That's the point. That's why we don't have ranked choice voting. That's why we have two parties, but both parties suck. And that's why the only ever actual energy that could ever exist is an independent, whether they run in the two-party system like Bernie Sanders or they run out of the two-party system, you know, like Ralph Nader or whatever. Let's even look at Ross Perot. That guy got 20% of the vote. By the way, 0 electoral votes. So that's another way that they got you by the balls. Again, I need you really to understand. I know, American politics, crazy stuff. But think about it, right? The popular vote doesn't even matter at all. You can be Ross Perot and get 20% of the vote. Now, that's not enough to win, right? But still, 20% of the vote. In the actual count, he got 0. We got zilch. He might as well have done nothing. Just think about that. Imagine being Ross Perot. You're spending like millions of dollars. You're like a billionaire or whatever. You're spending millions of dollars, and you get 20% of the people in the country who voted to vote for you, and you get 0 points at the end of it. Man, fuck, right? That's some crazy stuff, right? And so again, we live in this situation where there is all bad answers, right? And that's where you arrive at the philosophy of voting for the lesser of two evils. That's where you arrive at that philosophy. Now, just to be clear, that's my philosophy. I know it is not a great one, but let's all be honest about it. There are no good philosophies here. We can argue about what's the best, what's the least harmful, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. But let's be honest here. If you are voting for third parties and you're thinking, I'm going to show the Democrats a lesson, that's not happening. You voting for third parties only makes the Democrats stronger. So again, my problem with people that vote for third parties, it really boils down to the fact that they put way too much effort into something that they themselves also admit doesn't mean anything. And instead of putting that effort into something else, like going to a soup kitchen and volunteering, or, you know, just literally any other political activity, they just sit and whine all day about the duopoly. So again, with all that being said, let's read this article, because this article is weighing both sides here. But I just want to be very clear, they're not weighing the third-party lefty, the Jill Stein, Bernie Sanders, you know, Marianne Williamson, whatever it is, this whatever. They're not arguing with that side here. They're arguing with the political action group No Labels, which is fronted by Joe Lieberman, one of the most right-wing Democrats in the history of Democrats, right? So I need you all to understand, right? We are not going to get any good arguments out of this article here. This is just going to be a let them fight scenario, but, you know, it's a springboard for me to talk about other things too. So, among all the reasons Joe Biden defeated Donald Trump in 2020, but Hillary Clinton didn't 4 years earlier, one looms especially large for the coming presidential election: the share of the third-party vote. Now, again, if you want to say that the third-party vote cost Hillary Clinton the election, I need a better argument than just comparing the percentage of third-party voters to the difference, the delta between Trump and Hillary. Again, Clinton did not even campaign in like several swing states. She literally just didn't bother going to states like Wisconsin. She just said, I got this on lock, who cares, right? So again, I'm going to need more of an argument. Now again, it is factually true that if there were not third and fourth and fifth party options, that it is, and people were forced, right, they wouldn't have just stayed home, right? If we lived in a different world, yes, the third party vote would have single-handedly flipped it from Hillary to Trump. But we don't live in that world. We live in a gray, murky, dish soap water kind of world where things are not as obvious as that, right? So again, yeah, Hillary just didn't care. She didn't bother campaigning, so that's a factor, right? And then think about it. The people that voted third party, would they have even voted at all? Who knows, right? So again, there's a lot of factors here. In this debate here. So again, just, no side, even if you were to steel man both of these sides, the no labels third party side and the pro corporate Democrat side, even if you were to steel man their positions, again, none of them really comes out on top here. So in 2016, 6% of all voters cast ballots for third-party and write-in candidates, with Libertarian Gary Johnson getting more than 3% of the national vote and Green Party nominee capturing more than 1%. Now, again, people that voted for Gary Johnson are probably, let's be honest, more likely to vote for Trump, right? Like, these are the people that are Republicans, but they like weed, And it's like, hey, I'll take a Republican who likes weed over a Republican who doesn't like weed any day, right? But think about it. What is the Libertarian Party? It's the party of child labor. It's the party of child marriage. It's the party of child sex slavery. It's the party of sex slavery. It's the party of serfs and fiefdoms. And it's the party of drugs, right? Like, that's pretty much the Libertarian Party. Now, am I going to say that every Gary Johnson voter second choice would have been Trump? No, but I would say certainly over 51%. My personal opinion, I'm willing to say 70 or 80% of Gary Johnson voters probably would have went with Trump if they were forced between the two parties, right? So again, it's kind of like this wishful thinking mechanism from both sides. The no label side is, if we just tried a third party, it would work, man, and then we'd get away from Trump, right? And then the corporate Democrat side is like, the third party, they're destroying America. The fact that our party is garbage is not even remotely relevant. It's really the third parties, the ones that have no power, they're the ones that have the ultimate power. And it's like, what the fuck? Anyway, let's keep going. The difference effectively changed the threshold the major candidates needed to reach to win key battleground states from 47 and 48 to 26 in 2016 to 49 and 50 in 2020. They're saying that there were less third-party votes in 2020, which is true. That, Democrats say, made it easier for Trump to win in 16, but not in 20. And the numbers illustrate why Democratic groups eyeing a possible, if not likely, rematch between Biden. What does this mean, eyeing a possible, if not likely, rematch? Like, can we talk about this, by the way, that, like, mainstream media, Trump 2016, you know what? You can make an argument no one saw it coming. Now, I personally thought it was a good chance that Trump was going to win, but at least in the mainstream media, they didn't really see it coming. You can make that argument. But, like, the idea that we are now here in 2023, it is May 30th of 2023, Donald Trump has more than 51% in every primary poll for the Republican Party, and Joe Biden is the incumbent president and running again. I need you all, the idea that anyone is saying a possible, if not likely, rematch between Biden and Trump, it is the literal most likely outcome. Like, again, if you look at betting odds, like, gambling, the most likely outcome, Trump versus Biden round 2. If you look at polls, not even extrapolating anything, the most likely outcome. Like, I'm willing to state the only thing that could prevent a Trump versus Biden round 2 is either one of them having a heart attack and dying. Okay? Now, is mainstream media like NBC News Do they really think that it is a 51% chance that either Trump or Biden are going to hit the ground screaming and die any minute now? Do they really think that? Because that's what they're telling us here. That's what they're saying. They're saying, we, NBC News, genuinely believe that Joe Biden and or Donald Trump will cease to exist between now and the 2024 election, because that is the only mechanism in which these people are not running against each other. So just a minor nitpick there. All right. Want to keep the third-party vote share as small as possible, including moving to keep the well-financed third-party group No Labels off the ballot. Is No Labels really trying to become like another, like a fifth, 28th party? That's hilarious. Not join the Libertarians, too much baggage. Certainly not joining the Greens because they care about the climate. Let's start the No Labels party. Yeah, you know what my label is? No Labels. Comparing the results of 16 and 20, what stands out is that Trump's vote share nationally in key battleground states and in key counties stayed virtually the same, even as he won one election and lost another. What changed is that Biden grew the... You know what's interesting about this, by the way? Is that this whole article, you know, if these corporate Democrat freaks actually gave a flying fuck about third parties possibly eating into them, you know what they would do? Advocate for ranked choice voting. That's what they would do. Because again, if you truly believed that third parties were all garbage and none of them could ever win, but you're scared of spoilers, you would absolutely want ranked choice voting, because if that got the case, spoilers wouldn't exist and people would select Democrats as their number one or number two and they would win every time, right? But they don't want ranked choice voting, because you know what? That's the thing about it. Now, I'm not saying here that I've done a lot of research and I've participated in third-party movements myself, and they're all trash. People's Party, garbage. Green Party, garbage. Libertarian Party, garbage. PSL, garbage. They're all garbage, okay? DSA is not even an official party, and that's still pretty fucking bad in a lot of areas, right? So again, not a huge fan of these organizations, but, you know, obviously, there's a part of the corporate Democrat wing that is a little fucking scared of them because, again, they could wash all of this away with ranked choice voting. Take battleground Pennsylvania, for example. Trump defeated Clinton in the state in 2016, 48-47, but as third-party vote declined in 2020, Biden won at 49-48. The same situation played out in Wisconsin. Trump captured the battleground state in 2016. So basically, what they're saying is, watch out, because 2016 and 2020 were different elections that took place at different periods of time, and the results were different. That's their argument. All right. Either you are for democracy or not. The strategists behind No Labels believe there is a hunger for an alternative to Biden and Trump. Yeah, people are in this country, they're really thinking, you know what? Biden? Nah. Trump? Nah. Joe Lieberman, though? Yeah, that guy. That's what people are really hungry for. Jesus Christ. Okay. And they're spending $70 million to launch an independent unity ticket featuring a Democrat and a Republican. No! I mean, you can just say that's Joe Lieberman. He's basically a Democrat and a Republican, right? Like, just do that with one guy. They could have ballot access in all 50 states, and that could win, they say. They actually, No Labels is like, we're going to win a presidential election for 70 mil. Really? Really? You think you're going to buy a presidential election for only $70 million? Motherfuckers have spent hundreds of millions. Motherfuckers spend billions of dollars on this shit. You're going to win a presidential election with only $70 million in the bank. Come on, man. Come the fuck on. Getting a non-major party candidate on the ballot can be complicated, time-consuming, and expensive. But the group already has ballot access in Alaska, Arizona, Colorado, and Oregon. According to a poll No Labels Commission released in March, 59% of registered voters nationwide said they would consider voting for a moderate independent. It's the same thing. Yo, Groundhog Day. Now, I know most of my audience are older than me, right? And I, sitting here with my birthday to become 27 being tomorrow, I sit here as someone who's participated in 2, soon to be 3 presidential elections. It's the same shit every time. It's the same shit. I remember in 2016, now just to be clear, I lived in Maryland. I'm swearing my oath on the goddamn Quran right now. I lived in the state of Maryland in 2016. I voted for the Greens. I'll admit it. I know it's not my proudest moment, but I voted for the Green Party in 2016 in a blue state, by the way. Just throwing that one out there. And so, why did I do that? Well, that was my first presidential election. I voted for Bernie Sanders in the Democratic primary. He got shafted. I was mad at the system. And I was thinking to myself, well, look at the polls. I remember seeing a poll just like this when I was 19, 20 years old. Most people want to vote third party. It's just that every single time they don't. But they want to. They really want to. This is like if you did a poll on New Year's resolutions. Like 88% of Americans polled want to eat less carbohydrates this come year after New Year's resolution. Wow, that gives us an incredible amount of information. But every single fucking cycle, they parade these same polls. And again, they're not going to argue why this time is different. Why is it that this time is different? I'm willing to believe this. I voted third party in the past. Tell me, why is 2024 going to be different? They're not going to tell you. They're just going to get more people that haven't been exposed to this scam. That's really what they're doing here, is if you haven't been exposed to the third party scam, then you're the target demographic. You're going to say, oh, 60% of people, they would consider voting for a third party. Well, wow, and 99% of people want to eat more vegetables as a New Year's resolution, and yet 95% of Americans don't eat vegetables, right? So again, woo! This is basically just an advertisement for No Labels, but it's printed as if it's just journalistic media. What's more, the No Labels poll found that in a 3-person race, an unnamed moderate independent candidate that gets support from 20% of all voters compared with 33 for Trump and 28 for Biden. An unnamed moderate independent candidate gets support from 20% of all voters compared with 33 for Trump and 28 for Biden. So in their poll, they basically are proving the fears of the Democratic Party correct. Now, I would say this. If I'm the No Labels group, you know what I would do? I would not release that poll. Why give the enemy side up? Why give the opposition free oppo research? Don't publish the poll. You got the wrong result. Maybe try again. Ask some different questions until you get a better result, because that's how the entire polling industry works, by the way. No Labels leaders stress that if they don't have a path to victory, they ultimately won't put forward a 2024 ticket. I love this one because we're going to rely on Joe Lieberman's very rational assessment of reality on whether or not they have a quote-unquote path to victory. Yeah, Joe Lieberman. That guy, he can tell us the straight dope. They also dismissed complaints that the third-party bid would disproportionately take votes away from Democratic ticket, saying their own polling showed an equal share of Democrats and Republicans supporting an unnamed moderate. Yeah, their own poll also shows that Trump 33 and 28 Biden. Like we're dealing with a bunch of fucked up morons here. This is one of the easiest ways for Donald Trump to become president. Democrats opposed to No Labels argue that the third-party group has no chance of winning in 2024. Now, that's true. I just want to say that. I agree with the Democrats on this one. Now, again, I want a third party that actually is serious. We're probably never going to have them because third parties are just... Let's be honest. American politics, if you're involved in a third party, you're a grifter, a scammer, or a mark. Let's be honest. That's it. There's no one else. PSL, grifter, scammer, mark. If you're in the Green Party, a grifter, a scammer, or a mark. If you're in the People's Party, you're a grifter, a scammer, or a mark. If you're in the Libertarian Party, you're a mark or a grifter, okay? No scammers in the Libertarian Party. They're just all grifters, Those are pretty much synonymous, but I like both of those words, but Libertarians are pretty much firmly in the grifter category. The grifters and the drifters. But anyway, I need you really to all understand, if you are getting involved in a third-party effort at this point, barring like, if they've got like some AI hedge fund tech bro superstardom like funding them, and they're gonna calculate like it's like the fucking Terminator, and like Skynet's gonna like fucking send a super virus into the world to mass program people into voting for them, you know what? I'm in. I'll vote for the third party. But barring any sort of that kind of technological super prowess, guess what? They're not going to have a chance. And anyone pretending that they will is selling you something. Very specifically, selling you something. They want you to literally pay their salary. That's pretty much what the third party scam is, because it's a scam. Is they want to sit around and do nothing other than get famous. Like, look at the People's Party. That's all it is they're trying to get famous while they have random people online pay their salary. Is the People's Party actually doing political outreach? No. Is the Green Party doing political outreach? No. Is the Libertarian Party doing political outreach? No. All they're doing is sitting around working in their party apparatus, making their salaries on incoming political contributions. That's it. The treasury of the Libertarian Party, yeah, that's just a fake job to make money off of your dumb ass. And the same thing is going on with no labels. The same thing is going on here with all of these third parties. Now, again, I say this as someone who wants a third party to work. But anyway, you can read the rest of this if you want. This is basically just a giant advertisement for the No Labels group, which is something that they definitely don't need, and like presenting the worst arguments from both sides. But hey, it's fun to talk about, and the construction is seemingly over, I think. I'm not sure. So there you go. That killed some time.